Hey y'all, this is Whitney, and welcome back to another episode of Spastic Chatter. Spastic Chatter is a platform meant to feature those in the cerebral palsy community, and I get together with individuals with CP like myself to have an uncensored chat, if you will, about what it's like living with this type of disability. And I have Dom, and he's just an awesome individual. I first knew about Dom through my work diversibility, and I joked with him before this that I must have not read his bio thoroughly because I never knew that he had cerebral palsy. So I went ahead and read his bio and found out that he had CP. So I was like, of course I have to have him on Spastic Chatter. So we are gonna have a conversation about disability and politics, and like throw in all of these all this randomness. Might talk about tattoos. Who knows what we're going to talk about? Stay tuned. But I will let Dom introduce himself, and then we'll get on to the conversation. So take it away, Dom.
Thanks, Whitney. I am Dom. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I do have cerebral palsy, spastic diplegic cerebral palsy. So it mostly affects my legs. I am actually one of triplets with cerebral palsy. So I have an identical brother, and my fraternal triplet brother was a quad, and he passed away when we were 6 years old. I feel like I grew up surrounded by CEEPs and other disabled folks. My mom worked in like the disability world, and it was just sort of like my whole life. So I always love being in community with other disabled folks, especially people with CP. And professionally, I am a disability advocate. I work in politics, fundraising, and have experience in nonprofit, have a master's degree in nonprofit leadership, and I can go. There's so much of that stuff. I was a professional musician for a while, blah blah blah. But the most important thing why I'm here is because I have CP, and I love talking about CP. So this has been so exciting for me to talk to you about it.
So all three, correct me if I'm wrong, all three of you have CP?
Yeah. So my fraternal brother who died used a wheelchair full time, and he has CP. My identical brother has CP, and I have CP.
That's isn't that kind of unusual?
It's very unusual. Yeah.
I know, like I have a twin, and I'm not gonna lie, it kind of pisses me off because like our doctors diagnosed her with OCP, but in all actuality, I'm just gonna speak like freely, and like you can come at me if you want, but in all actuality, she's just clumsy, like, but they wanted she had to have some procedure done, so like in order to get that procedure, she had to have like a medical diagnosis. So they went ahead and diagnosed her with CP because I had it. So like they just like put like, but like she like lives like a quote unquote normal life. She's like she doesn't, and here I am like a quadriplegic in a wheelchair, and I have to my life is different from her, so it always pisses me off that she could get that, I guess, label too, and I wanted that, I wanted that label to myself, like I always say the reason I have CP is because she stole all the oxygen, and that's just a joke, but yeah, so that's kind of cool in a way that you all have CP, because you can like relate to one another.
Yeah, it was kind of a bonding thing, I think, as kids. And I mean, I definitely think there between the three of, well, I can't say between the three of us because when my brother died, we were so young. But maybe between my identical brother and I, there's definitely some like I don't know competition about who's in the past, like who's more disabled. I won't. I don't think that that's the case now. But I think that if you talk to him, he'd say that he had strong feelings about that. And I don't know. I mean, I think like for us, it was just always been cool. It's been a bonding thing. And as we've gotten older, um, for both of us, I'd say our CP has progressed, even though they say it's not a progressive disability. But you and I know that that's not true. And that's actually been something that's been really cool. That's brought us together is that we can actually not just commiserate with each other, but like also just share our experiences and talk about like what we're gonna do. Like I haven't worn braces on my legs since I was a teenager, mainly because I think I mostly just wanted to wear the cool pants, and I got tired of it. And I have to wear braces again after a long time. I'm getting a wheelchair, a custom wheelchair, and like my brother's in the same position. And I think it's just been nice to like go to someone else. Like I could just pick up my phone and call him and be like, and complain or, talk about what we're doing, whatever it is. So that I think that's been like a really cool thing for us to have each other.
That's very cool. And I can definitely, they say that it doesn't progress as you get older, but I feel like with CP, like we all, like people say that they feel like they're like way older than they are. Like that expression, like I feel like I'm 80. Well, aging with CP, like I think it's especially with spastic CP, it's because our we take like we put our bodies through the ringer every day. Like I'm putting my body through the ringer right now, and I'm just talking. Like my whole body is activated, and I'm just talking. So like imagine like going like 24 hours a day, like that, like your body's gonna get worn out. And like I'm on so many different medicines as I've gotten older, and like I don't want to take medicines, but I need to take them in order to feel like okay.
Do you take baclofen?
Yes, I actually have. Me too. I actually have a baclofen pump. Like
the pump. Oh, okay.
The baclofen pump like changed my life. Like I went from just a quick like I got it in my senior year of high school, and I went from having to rely on a caregiver to do completely everything. So like I live alone. Like I do all of my independent living skills or activities for myself, and that's probably because I'm hard-headed. And when somebody tells me no, I'm gonna be like, "Why? Well, watch this." And, and a lot of it's because of the baclofen pump. But so
yeah, I don't have the pump. I take pills every day, but yeah, it has been a game changer for me too. Yeah, I don't necessarily want to do it, but it's helping.
Yeah, and like the medicine part, like I recently like I didn't realize that I was my symptoms. So I was having like a severe nerve pain, and I did not realize it was nerve pain until I went to my doctor, and she was like, "Here, try this medicine for nerve pain," and like I finally feel back to my normal self, and I never associated cerebral palsy with like nerve pain. Like,
wow, I never have either, and I haven't had that problem myself. But I mean, it's so Mary Fashik and I just had a conversation on her podcast, and she brought up a good point, which is that like I think CP is linked to so many things that even doctors don't even realize, that there's just no research. there's just no research into it.
Or if there's research, there's like a I don't know how to word this correctly, but like there's like a motive behind that research that's like not benefiting the community at all. It's just like I don't know if it's monetary or what it is, but like there's no like authentic research, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
Because I can think of one organization, and I'm not gonna like drop names, but there's a bunch of like they quote unquote say that like they're doing research, but like it all just looks like they're trying to like grow their social media and like all this kind of stuff. So yeah, I can definitely, and I've had Mary on Spastic Chatter also. So yes, I love Mary. So but yeah, there's definitely some medical like stuff that I think correlates with CP. But kind of like changing the subject. What I like I said, I've always wanted to talk politics with someone on Spastic Chatter. What got you into like politics and like policy and the advocacy side?
Yeah, I think I've always been interested in it. I kind of feel like when you're disabled, you're sort of like you sort of have to be in some level political because you're sort of always fighting for access and survival. And I think probably maybe other marginalized folks would say the same. But so I feel like it's always been in me because I've had to. And then as I've gotten to be an adult and, I was raised by a mother who was like very vocal and very much an activist and an advocate. She was an advocate for us. And she would fight someone if they, I remember like we parked in an accessible parking space and this woman walked by and said, "They don't look so handicapped to me." And she like pulled us out of the car and screamed at this lady in the parking lot. And that was just my mother. And that was her, like she was willing to fight, and she did that for us. She did that for the causes she believed in. And I think that like maybe I inherited that somehow. So that's always been in me. And then, it kind of felt like at some point it's a natural like career path to be on. And then, what I care about a lot of issues, but I care so much about making sure that disabled people, especially in the South, have access to healthcare and employment and accessible and affordable housing and things that, especially in rural parts, probably everywhere, but really here in the South, like there's just so much of a disparity, particularly with like Black and brown disabled people. So that's like the stuff that I really deeply care about. And I get to like feel like I have some part in that work right now.
It's awesome. And there's so much we can talk about. And what you just said, first, I think like whenever you have a strong advocate, like a parent or whatever, I think that kind of like teaches you as a kid how to advocate for yourself and like make sure that you know how to like vocalize your needs and all that stuff as an adult. Because once you turn from a child to an adult, like you're no one's gonna advocate for you except yourself. Like There's all these resources out there, but you're not gonna be able to get them unless you advocate for yourself.
Yep, absolutely.
Yes, and I'm a firm believer in that. And then the second part you said, I'm from Texas, and I'm probably in one of the most rural areas in Texas. Like I'm an hour away from Austin. Like the my town has like maybe 1,000 people in it. So like there's like not that much. There's not that many resources for disabled. Like we're like me and my partner are both disabled, and we're in the process of thinking about moving to bigger areas just to have the freedom to go wherever we want. Like right now we feel like we're stuck in the four walls of our apartment because we don't have the resources for transportation. And like the car, like there's hardly any curb cuts where we are, even if we do leave the house. Like, but so I can definitely kind of relate to that and those issues and those kind of issues. What like you were what's like one of your most your accomplishments that you're most proud of?
Yeah, I mean, I have a few. I mean, I would say like I used to have a career in music and did it full time and toured around the country with my brothers in our little rock band, a couple disabled kids playing rock music, and it was we did a lot of things that I'm very proud of. But I think what I'm most proud of right now is that I have been able to build a career doing the work that I care about, which is to help others, and namely disabled people. And that really, like, as corny as it may be, like I do it because I am disabled, but also because it was my brother's legacy. And I just carry that with me. You're a multiple. I think there is a connection that if you're not a multiple, you don't really understand. And while my brother died, 25 years ago, we're still I feel a connection. My identical brother and I still call ourselves triplets because there's that connection there. And so I feel like I'm most proud. The accomplishment I'm most proud of is that I have continued this. Like my identical brother and I, after our brother Paul died, we continued to be advocates in our local school district. We helped start a disability awareness program, and we did that all throughout our school years. And we did it on the road a little bit while we were touring, and that we've carried that on, and now I get to do it even more. And I think that's that's an accomplishment that if I never got paid a dollar to do any of this, the fact that I get to kind of continue to carry on his legacy, and our legacy as three, I think has been maybe the best accomplishment. So I know it's a little corny and sentimental, but
no, that's I love that. I'm all about that sentimental, corny stuff. I love how you said that you just want to carry on your brother's legacy. I think that once you've been through certain things in life and you feel like you have a person's legacy to carry on, that drive is just something special that you don't understand unless you've been put in that situation. I also feel like I have somebody's legacy to carry on because like I said I got a back pump when I was in high school, and I worked my ass off in rehab for 3 months, and my physical therapist that I was with since he was my very first physical therapist. He stayed my physical therapist until I was 18, and we were together for every day for those 3 months. His name was Paul, and he died in a car accident right before, like a week after I stopped rehab. So like that kind of like, I think I credit living on through his legacy as like what kind of pushed me to be so independent, because I feel like I have his legacy to carry on, like, so I can definitely relate to that in some way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let's do a more lighthearted question. So your Instagram handle is the tattooed Jew, and I love tattoos. It's awesome. So let's have a question about tattoos. Like, when did you start getting tattoos?
I got my first one in 2014, I think. It's somewhere here on my arm. It says triplet in Hebrew, and it has my brother's name and his birth and death dates that he when he was born and when he died. And then I have like 13 on my arms. So my most recent one is this. It says criplets. Because I realized randomly last year that we were all disabled and triplets, and I was like, all of a sudden I was in a work meeting and I thought criplets. It just clicked in my head, so I got it tattooed on my arm. And then I just have a bunch of others. Most of them are all, meaningful for my mom, for my brother, me and my wife.
I have a question for you, because is only your arms tattooed right now?
Only my arms. I want to get my legs tattooed. I want to get like a CP tattoo on my legs, but I haven't quite gotten there yet. I haven't figured it out.
Yeah, I only have my arms, because I don't know how, like, I haven't ventured out past my arms, because I don't know how my legs are gonna react to being tattooed. And like, I've joked with my the tattoo artists that I've had. I was like, I remember my very first tattoo. I had a friend who called the tattoo artist beforehand. It was like, you might need to tie her down, like, when she's tattooing, but it's totally fine. And then I got there, and like, I was so, like, I was calm, like, tattooing, like, I was like completely calm, like, and he was like, y'all are just joking because you wanted me to tie her down, but like there's something about tattooing, like, it just calms me down. Like, I don't know, it's like an adrenaline rush. Like,
it really is. And I don't do super well with pain, but tattoos don't bother me. Even getting shots, it's never bothered me. I remember, like, even when I was a kid, they did some, I don't remember, maybe they were putting what's that stuff you put in your face that they put in our legs when we have CP?
Botox.
Yeah, Botox. Maybe it was Botox. I don't remember what they were putting in my legs, but we got all these shots in our legs, and I was like, yes, shots. I was excited. I always was excited to get my flu shot, and there's something about needles that has never bothered me. So the tattoos, just, I don't know, they don't bother me. My wife is terrified of it. I love it.
No, it's funny because like I got in college, I would get my because I went to the same tattoo place for like all of my years of college. I would get them business because I'd have to have somebody to bring me to tattoo shops. My friends would take me, and like they would get their business, and like my friends would freak out, and like I would joke around like, aren't you glad that you're not tattooing them and you're tattooing me? Like, because they would freak out over needles and stuff, and I'm just like chill about it. Like, oh, this doesn't bother me.
it also might be a seep thing. Like I don't know, maybe we've been desensitized to it for all the
Yeah.
surgeries and all that. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe we're just two weirdos who enjoy pain.
Maybe.
At the end of all of my interviews, Dom, I asked people if they have any advice for those watching if they're in like similar situations as themselves. So, do you have any like life advice in general? Like if somebody wants to start their political journey, get tattoos, any kind of life advice.
I think it's career, politics, life advice maybe is like if you're passionate about something, you can make it your career. It is very possible. I mean, you're doing it with Diversability, with your podcast. Like, there's a way to do it. And I think sometimes people with enormous amounts of privilege and power can try to dissuade others, particularly people who are on the margins, from going for that, for doing the work that they care about. And like, whether it's politics or it's art or whatever it is, like there's a way to do it. And for me, one of the most important ways that I've been able to do it is like find my people, make connections with the people that are most impactful in the space I want to be in. And like, don't be afraid to ask people for help with it. I have had to ask so many people for connections and resources. And, one of the disability justice principles is interdependence. And I think about that a lot. Like, not only do I have to be willing to be there for another disabled person, I have to be willing to ask for help. And that's how we make progress. So I think about that in general as like some of the best advice I've ever gotten is like find those people and carve out your place. That's the last thing I'll say. A disabled activist friend said to me, in the spaces that we want to work in, there's usually not a place for us. So disabled people have to carve it out for themselves. And I've held on to that, and it's been some of the best words I've heard, and it's motivated me to like carve out the space for me. So I hope that helps people carve it out for themselves.
That's awesome. I love that advice. Well, we have I do not have the paid version of Zoom, and we have we're going on like 5 minutes left. So where can people follow you on social media, Dom?
On Twitter, they can follow me at _tattooed Jew. It's the same on Instagram. My Instagram's private, but I'll probably accept it anyway. But my Twitter is public, _tattooed Jew.
Awesome. I will put that in the description. And thank you for being on an episode of Spastic Chatter. I really enjoyed talking with you. And if you're watching this and you want to be on an episode, feel free to DM me, and I'd love to have anyone that wants to be on. And check back periodically for another episode. Thanks. Bye.